Conquering Cougars, BYU sends the Knights back to the swamps of Florida with a loss.
And bring on the Aggies. These in-state rivals kick off in just hours. We'll show you they have more in common than you think.
And I'm Kika Latu, live at Ice Cream Shop here in Provo with the Inside Scoop. Lavelle Edwards will stop scooping ice cream long enough to give us his predictions for tonight's big game. Stay tuned, we're scooping up another edition of Coop Tube.
Game tonight in the nation is yours truly, BYU versus Utah State, on none other than ESPN.
Brooke, I had a nightmare last night and I woke up screaming 54-10. I'm just not ready for in-state rivals. I'm not ready. I can't handle it yet.
Well, before we preview the game, let's look back on our much-needed win. Remember week 1 when BYU was a second-half football team? Well, it looks like those Cougars are back. The Cougs moved the ball well, both in the air and on the ground in the first half, but couldn't find the end zone. Surprised? Probably not. After a concussion took Ross Appo out for the rest of the game, things weren't looking too good. Knights quarterback Jeff Godfrey practically walked into the end zone, then into the locker room with a 10-3 lead. Second half, entirely different story. There's J.J. DeLuigi pushing his way into the end zone for the first time this season, and if anyone deserves a touchdown on that team, I say it's that guy. And then came the moment Cougar fans have been waiting for since 1998. Cody Hoffman shows us that Cougars can outrun Knights any day of the week, throwing 7 more on the board with this 93-yard kick return. And UCF was feeling generous, handing the Cougars an easy 7-point drive after this muffed punt in the 4th to seal BYU wins 24-17.
The ground game really grounded out the win this week. BYU's running backs had it going on. They got almost 50 more yards than the Knights, ripping through UCF's defense on the gridiron. But this one makes you scratch your head a little. UCF blew BYU out of the water in passing yards. But luckily, Cody Hoffman chose this game to take it to the house on a kickoff return. That made up enough difference to grab the Cougars the win. And the Cougars decided this week, hey, they like that football. The only turnover was a Jake Heaps pass interception, as opposed to an interception and 2 fumbles lost by the Knights. Talk about a turnaround game this week with UCF. Hallelujah. Only 1 interception. I don't know if that's something we should be glad about,
Well,
though.
You saw those rushing yards as well as the returning yards, but I'd like to see those passing yards go up. I want to see Jake Heaps hit some guys in the end zone. 1 touchdown a game for Jake Heaps, or none, as we saw in UCF, is not enough.
Brooke, we go to BYU, aren't we, a passing school?
We are.
I forgot. I must have forgotten. Our team has struggled. Our team has struggled a little bit this season, and Coach Mendenhall is the first to admit it. Bronco touched the subject at his weekly press conference.
I would say we're making progress. We're certainly not playing to our potential yet, which is the goal, and my goal as the coach. It's fun to see him win. It's fun to see him smile. It's fun to see him celebrate, and it's fun to see him make enough plays to accomplish that against what I thought was a pretty good team in Central Florida, and I think many thought it was a good team.
Coming off a win is a needed boost of confidence for our team, but Bronco says that confidence only gets you so far. The rest of it is up to hard work. Bronco also mentioned how the team is chomping at the bit to take on the Aggies. They're ready to officially get this season going. You're going to have to plan on leaving before 4 p.m. to get to your seats tonight. I-15 is going to be a mess with the combination of construction, Aggie, and Cougar fans. The Utah Department of Transportation suggests packing your friends in a car to carpool using specific routes like Orem 800 North and Orem Center Street to University Avenue. If you're already here in Provo, you're going to want to stay away from major routes from 4 to 6 tonight. For more information from UDOT, visit our website, www.elevennews.byu.edu.
The phrase, "I'd rather be dead than red," isn't the only thing fans attending tonight's game have in common. Reporter Blake Tillotson shows us that Provo and Logan share more than just the color blue.
Both BYU and Utah State have too much history to ignore. And I'm not just talking about bowl schools claiming to have the best ice cream in town. I'm talking about a past BYU coaching legend and current player who once called themselves Aggies. Oh my God. Lavelle Edwards, an Aggie? That's right. They inducted the three-time letter-winning linebacker into the Utah State University Hall of Fame just 3 weeks ago. But he wised up and moved south, and the rest is history. After all, BYU didn't name its football stadium after Lavelle for nothing.
And BYU, now, let me revise it. Lavelle Edwards has led this BYU team.
So what is it that attracts Cache Valley athletes to the Cougars' Happy Valley? BYU quarterback Riley Nelson made the switch after starting for the Aggies his freshman year. For the Logan native, it was about resources.
I don't know, BYU's got a lot more money, a lot more facilities, a lot of things like that. Obviously, it's a bigger community, bigger following.
Whatever the reason, one thing's for certain. Utah State hasn't forgotten that Lavelle Edwards was their player first and BYU's coach second. Like that matters. In Provo, Blake Tillotson, CougTube.
Blake also used to be an Aggie, but he's all better now. Cougar fans will be happy to know that Lavelle Edwards lost 3 of his 4 games against BYU while playing at USU, and he won 21 of 27 games against Utah State as BYU's head coach.
When CougTube returns, Friday Night Fights. BYU looks to avenge last year's loss to the Aggies with a new look at their defense.
And legends of the Scoop, the Jimmer and coach are chilling in North Provo. We'll get their take on the Aggies and Cougars. Stay tuned.
Tonight is Friday Night Lights round 2 for the Cougars, and they're taking on the Utah State Aggies.
We'll have to redeem ourselves from last year's loss.
CougTube reporter Sean Gordon is here with us. How is this momentum from last week's game going to carry into this game against the Aggies?
That could play a big role in tonight's game, with BYU coming off that much-needed win against Central Florida and Utah State having that heartbreaking overtime loss to Colorado State. But there is one matchup that I'm especially looking forward to coming into tonight.
It's the unstoppable force against the immovable object. The biggest matchup in tonight's game will be the relentless rushing attack of Utah State against BYU's stingy front seven. Utah State enters the game with one of the nation's best offenses. Standout running back Robert Turbin and dual-threat quarterback Chucky Keaton know how to light up the highlight reels. While their record may not show it, the entire Aggie team seems to have a new life this year, and the Cougars have noticed.
The big thing, I think they play hard, and anytime where the teams are equally matched, it's going to be a good game.
BYU will counter with what many consider to be one of the best rush defenses they've had in years, giving up less than 90 yards per game on the ground. Both teams have question marks, though. BYU's offense has shown flashes of promise, but lacks consistency, while Utah State's defense has struggled to stop the pass. The two teams seem to be the most evenly matched they've been in a long time, which means it will be the little things that lead one of them to victory.
The team really who goes out and executes the best is going to win, and we've had a good week of preparation, and I'm just excited to go out there and play.
I think it's safe to say there will be a little revenge on BYU's mind tonight also after losing to the Aggies last year.
So what are the keys to a BYU win tonight?
I think there's going to be 3 main things that BYU needs to focus on. First, they need to stop Robert Turbin in the running game. Second, they need to win the turnover battle. And third, they need to convert their drives into touchdowns, which they haven't been very good at so far this year.
I think another big question is, will Jake get more than 1 touchdown?
I think you will. Looking at it, if they can get the running game going and establish that, then it'll open the field up for Heaps, and he'll be able to have one of his better games.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks.
BYU football players hit the books almost as hard as they hit their opponents. The National Football Foundation named senior Brian Correa as one of the best and brightest, nominating him for their Scholar Athlete Award. The Cougar running back maintains a 3.9 GPA, but he isn't just an academic all-star. Correa leads the team in rushing and had 14 carries, 52 yards, and a touchdown last week's game against UCF.
Utah State University students may look at tonight's game like a bowl game, but as CougTube reporter Christina Silly shows us, BYU students hope tonight is just another routine victory for their Cougars.
On the Utah State campus, the annual game against BYU makes students' blood boil.
I don't even care if Utah is playing BYU, I just want BYU to lose.
Down here in Provo, heads are a little cooler.
I think that they're a little bit of a rival. I don't think they're near as big of a rival or near as big of a threat as, say, the U.
Probably Utah's all like revved up, like, you know, since they're trying to have the rival thing, and I don't think BYU is as into that, you know, like with Utah State.
After our big loss to Utah earlier this month, BYU fans are counting on a victory today. But the loss doesn't worry students. Some think it even gives the team a bit of an edge.
If anything, I think it's actually going to fuel them a little bit harder. I'm pretty sure that they've gotten kind of into the mood of things and into the swing that they'll be able to do pretty well.
Even though BYU fans don't consider Utah State to be one of their biggest rivals, they're still hoping the Cougars can redeem themselves from last year's loss tonight at LaVell-Edwards Stadium.
Rivalry or not, the fans will be ready. On the BYU campus, Christina Seeley, CougTube.
Before BYU's loss last season, the Aggies hadn't won a football game against the Cougars since 1993.
Injuries are a part of the game, and there are 3 big ones facing BYU tonight: Pendleton, Appo, and Reynolds. History is repeating itself with Jordan Pendleton. Last year, the Utah State game ended with surgery for him, and now he's recovering from an ankle injury. The UCF game ended early for Appo thanks to this slobber knocker. Ouch! Resulting in a bad headache, a hurt pride, and a mild concussion. Houston Reynolds also has an injury. He has a foot injury to thank for his recent hiatus. The good news, doctors have cleared all 3 players, but coaches will make the final decision come game time.
When CougTube returns, Rajan Romney, he's making up for lost game time with a killer season start.
And paint people, you wouldn't know to scream first down without their paint lines. They'll be on the sidelines with the crew, and ice cream with LaVell-Edwards is still to come. Stay with us.
Romney Fuga is back. BYU's giant defensive lineman blew out his knee last year, but is now healthy and back on the field. CougTube reporter Devin Dewey caught up with him earlier this week to get all the latest details.
Fuga went through surgery and got that knee bending again just fine. Now he's back on the defensive line with his teammates making some spectacular tackles.
Well, last season against Nevada, I tore my ACL and my LCL. So it was a pretty serious injury, but the doctors, they did a pretty good job with the surgery, and the trainers and the coaches, they gave me all support throughout the year.
Surgery and recovery. Fuga has been through it all. Now that he is back, he is tearing it up. He already has more solo tackles this season than he did in the 4 games he played last season. Squaring up on the line at 321 pounds, he is a force to reckon with. Fuga played in every game so far this season and says he's very happy to be back on the field.
It feels great. I mean, I'm doing a thing that I love to do, and just being back here and being on the field and playing football with the guys and the brothers on my team, I just love being back.
The rest of the BYU football team and fans are also glad to have Fuga back. He is now pushing and fighting his way to sack that quarterback.
Fuga told me his knee gets a little sore still, but not enough to slow him down or keep him from making those great tackles. My contribution to the team this week, I'm sending him a complimentary bottle of ibuprofen. Brianna?
Thanks, Devin.
Those BCS
busting Boise State Broncos will make the rounds to Provo a lot more often. They've agreed to extend their football series with our Cougars for a whopping 8 more games. The teams will start the series next season, and Boise will alternate until 2023. The Cougars and Broncos, have gone head-to-head twice in 2003 and 2004. The Potato Ponies took W's both years. Before Romney Fuga and his teammates take the field, there's another team of Cougars helping the defense to hold the line by painting the lines. CougTube reporter Brittany Good shows us what it takes to get the field ready for kickoff.
It takes lots of time and lots of paint.
8 hours a day for 3 or 4 days. There's a crew out here working on the field with repairs on the field and also painting the field.
And all the work starts here in the paint pit with the mixing.
A lot of paint. We use 50 gallons today. We'll probably use almost 100.
That means this season, almost 700 gallons. To get the job done, the crew uses their own specialized equipment, the paint buggy.
We use an old Volkswagen Bug. paint type machine to paint the lines.
It takes a beetle to mark the sidelines, goal lines, and all 19-yard lines. And some geometry skills, too.
To make sure the lines stay straight, they lay down this thin rope as a guide on the field. Everything else is painted by hand.
As far as like artwork and numbers and stuff like that, we use there's a wand that we use to paint all the artwork.
A lot of people don't think about what we put into the field. They just think about the game, and that's the most important part, but the field sometimes is taken for granted.
So tonight, when the Cougars reach the end zone, you'll see the proof that another BYU team and the paint buggy were there first. From Lavelle Edwards Stadium, Brittany Good, CougTube.
One of the design changes on the field this season that fans can look for is the addition of the team motto, Tradition, Spirit, and Honor. Look for that paint job near the sidelines by the end zone. When CougTube comes back, Chillin' Cougars. Talk with Coach Lavelle Edwards and Jimmer about their favorite ice cream and their favorite football team.
And I'll give you the scoop on what to expect this weekend when 11 Game Time weather returns.
Chantel's going to tell us about weather in a second, but two Cougar legends are already looking to beat the heat in Utah Valley. CougTube reporter Kika Latu is at Ike's Ice Cream in North Provo, and you've got some pretty impressive guests there, Kika.
It's not every day you meet someone with an ice cream flavor named after them. Basketball star Jimmer Fredette was here but had to leave. But joining me now is Lavelle Edwards. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Now you are a former Aggie. What's your predictions for the big game tonight?
Oh, I think the Cougars will prevail. But I loved it when I was up there.
Wonderful. Now you did help scoop ice cream, or you will help scoop ice cream. What's your favorite flavor?
Vanilla. Yeah, it's always been vanilla.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Lavelle. And Brooke, that's your predictions from one Cougar great. This is Kika Latu live in North Provo, CougTube.
Thanks, Kika, and please bring us back some ice cream.
We're cleared. Thank you so much.
I thought it was going to be fall. It's not fall, it's summer.
I love the warm weather, though.
No,
It's great.
I'm ready for a sweater, to be honest.
80s is great football weather, guys.
No.
It's true, but you know what? I'm ready for some rain, just like Brianna is. But let's go ahead and take a look at our weather shot right now. Beautiful, clear skies out there. And you know what? All those fans, sooner or later, in a few hours, it's going to be filled up with a lot of fans for our Cougars. But you know what? There is a change in the weather. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at your game time weather right now. By 6 o'clock p.m. at kickoff, it's actually going to be about 80 degrees. Our high is going to be in the upper 80s, and we're going to be seeing sunny skies, not a drop at all, with humidity at 20%, wind speeds 5 miles per hour. Unfortunately, there is a change coming around. So sorry, Brooke, about that. But let's take our sat map. Here's our trough of low pressure that's actually going to be coming in. We actually also have some remnants right here of Hurricane Hillary. It's actually a tropical storm now, and that'll actually be doing some isolated thunderstorms. You'll probably see those down south. And in our Southern Day forecast, well, you know what? There's a lot of people going down there for the St. George Marathon, and I'm sorry to tell you, but 90 degrees, that's not very good running weather. It was this hot again last year. 96 today is your high, but by next work week, 88 and 87, that'll be a little bit better than what we've been seeing. I'm sure you guys are ready for a cool down there, but in northern Utah, we are going to be seeing quite a bit of rain. So 89 is our high today for Friday, going down just to 58. Saturday, 85. Not bad. We'll start seeing a little bit of clouds, but by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're actually going to be seeing a lot of rain going on. If you're going to conference, I definitely bring a light jacket. So Brooke, tonight it looks like it's going to be great, but there are some changes coming to us. Back to you.
Thanks, Chantel. And now for everyone's favorite part of the week, predictions. I may not have the best overall record at 2-4, but at least I picked our very own Cougars to beat UCF. That's more than I can say for some people around here. Brooke.
Oh, come
but
on.
She's tied for the best record at 4-2 with the reporters, and Chantel is sitting at the bottom with a lowly 1-5.
Ouch.
For this weekend's games, we have BYU against Utah State. If you think this is going to be an easy win, you're sadly mistaken.
Absolutely.
The other game we're picking today is a big ranked 7-8 matchup between Wisconsin and Nebraska. It's a little blue on blue and red on red action you won't want to miss.
I'm loving this matchup this year with BYU and Utah State. Utah State is just busting it out this season.
I'm disappointed in you two. I can't believe you picked Utah State.
We just watched a whole Robert Turbin.
Yeah, and they
had 4 rushing touchdowns last week.
Wagon
that
wheel,
guy's
it's the wagon wheel. It's the wagon wheel.
I still think BYU wins pretty easy, and I also think that Wisconsin, nobody's been able to stop them so far, so why should Nebraska be able to do it this time?
Right there.
I agree with you. I'm all for the Badgers. I don't know if it's the red and white W. It reminds me of Weezer High School days, but I'm all for the Wisconsin Badgers. I'm ready, but I can't believe, I do wish we had a quarterback like Utah State.
Freshman quarterback.
He's just a baby.
Incredible, though.
He does a great job, and I think that with our offense, hopefully we can just ram it up and really use our running backs and use running as our strength because that's what Auburn did, and it seemed to work. It seemed to pull out a win against the Aggies.
Barely.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, that's KookTube for Friday, September 29th.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good afternoon.
Go Cougars.